diving into this episode, I want to talk about motivation. I want to talk about success, um, and I want to talk about what that means in the musical community. The music industry, the music business, what have you. Um, I feel like that. I feel like that phrase success is very much thrown around in a very different type of aspect, different type of way with everybody. Everybody has their own versions of success and everybody has their own definition behind it. And some might contribute it towards the amount of money that one might make from a particular song or let's just say like how many playlists that you get featured on, how much exposure, how many streams. There's a lot of different definitions on what it means to be successful in today's music business. And what I've learned, especially with this year, has been taken away from the money aspect of things. Money is important, and it the music business can be a little bit expensive. It can be very much cost inducive. It can be very timely. It's a lot of investment, and you know I feel like when people don't see that money come in return, or balance out or even out, they might think that they are not becoming successful, or they might think that you know that they're not getting what they put into it. And I really want to shine some light on this particular subject because it's something that I personally went through. Um, Making money is important to me, and it always will. But I feel that with the music business in particular, it has a lot more to do with opportunity, I feel like. And the more opportunity I feel like that you get into the music business, especially in today's modern music business, that can stem into a lot more success for yourself. And I need to give a really big shout out to Chris Jordan from Baron Studios. He is my local engineer that I work with in Houston, Texas, and he said something really cool to me the other day, and I really take this with the warmest respect. And he says that you know if you feel that you're doing a lot more for yourself and you're leveling up than from where you were in the past, you're putting out more stuff. You're releasing more singles or more projects. You are getting recognized by certain curators, certain record labels. You're signing on with a publishing deal, and you're, you know, doing a lot more than what you did and what you could say that you did in the past. And I now take a strong affirmation of that, and I reference that as being more of a success point rather than, oh my gosh, I put $2,000 in this project and I'm only getting like $20 back. And, it definitely can put some people down over time if they are not getting, I guess you could say, the return on investment for what they put into their music. And I definitely look at music as a long-term game now. It's much more of a long-term stretch, more of like I would personally say, a 5 to 10 year goal rather than, a 5 to 10 song goal. And I feel like it does take a little bit more time for you to establish certain relationships and certain manifestations for your career. And with those types of things, it takes time, and it's okay that it takes that amount of time. And I just want to encourage everybody that is going through the trenches of releasing project after project, singles, albums, what have you, to not get so obsessed with the money aspect of things. It can very well be of course, important for everybody. But I don't want you to think that because you didn't earn that amount of money for yourself in return or anything like that, that it was like a flop for you or that it wasn't successful. Because I have to tell my own self that, okay, like, um, because I put X amount of dollars into this project and me, we're not receiving it back or, receiving however many streams or however many, you know, listeners or anything like that, that it, I don't want it to get me down. And, I have to tell myself, look, what's the reason, I have to ask myself, like, what's the reason why I'm doing this? And I think the overall reason for me is that I love the process. I love the conversation from A to B to B to C and to, transfer the files to, pay the particular person or, however much money it is to do a certain service or getting those files back in return. And you got a completely mixed down project and, talking with singers, establishing relationships, reaching out to curators, the promotion of the project, the reels, the cover art, like all that stuff. I feel like it's just, for me, it's such an immersive high that I love so much. And I think that I'm just now more in love with the process of how the music business works rather than just like, oh, I put a track out and because I didn't receive X amount of dollars, that doesn't make me successful anymore. And I want to really encourage each and every one of you guys that are involved in the music business that it's not all about the streams. It's sometimes a little bit deeper than that. It's, you getting to the end goal of that project and you getting to on to the next project. It's much more of like, you creating a legacy for yourself rather than, oh, I did this and this and this and, I'm supposed to be receiving this or because I put this amount of money into it, I'm supposed to be receiving that. And it's not always the case sometimes. There's going to be certain things that you do in a musical aspect that you feel that could attribute to a large ROI, return on investment. And then there's things that you put not as much into that you were just like blown away from, like, wow, like that's such an incredible reward for as much as I put into it. And it might have not have been as much as that one big project. And then you're just like, whoa, like this did a lot better than that other one. And, you just kind of, I don't know, you get kind of lost in it. And so I just want to come on here and just encourage you guys that, the definition of success, of course, it is different for everybody. But I don't want you to think that you're not successful because you're not making this as a living yet. And I'm in that same boat. I would love to make this to be my full-time job, my full-time role. And it takes time. It definitely takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of consistency. But I don't view it as being out of reach. I view it as an opportunity that I just need to work harder towards. And yeah, it definitely takes that drive from project to project and, manifesting those relationships and, manifesting those types of rewards for yourself because it is definitely a very much of a mind game and you have to be very disciplined in what you're doing, especially if you're involved in music. Because it can be one of those things that when you start to, I guess you could say like motivate yourself into doing something, or I'll do it at this particular time or this particular time. It's just never going to be the right time. And the best thing that you can do is just keep plugging away at it a little bit at a time. Even if it's just like, you had an eye-opening thought about that project that you didn't have the day before, or you know what, like I'm going to do a little bit of work on that project today and come back to it the next day. And you know what? Like, that's okay. You don't have to complete everything all at once. Savor the moment. Savor that time from completing that one project, because it's never going to come back. And you want to be able to harness that moment and that process as closely to your heart as possible, because once it's gone, it's gone. And this is something that I haven't gotten taught um, in respect to the current school that I'm involved with. I currently go to Berklee College of Music, and I am getting a Master of Arts in music business. And I guess this psychological aspect of the music business is something that I feel like needs to be a little bit more touched on, because it's not. There's a lot of generalities that are taught in respect to the music business, but I feel like the motivation and success in today's modern music business is definitely needing a more open type of conversation, because it can be a very challenging thing if you're making music on just the fly or the seat of your pants. And a lot of good music is made on the fly, and I completely respect that. I'm all about that. um but don't let that be the main drive for your music. There has to be some sort of level of consistency in the term of how much time you spend towards a particular project, or a particular song, what have you. Because it can get to one of those deals to where it's like, you know, you step away for a month or so, and then when you step back in it, you're just like, man, you're just not as into it anymore. And that's definitely where that consistency and that I don't know, I guess you could say that ferocity comes from. It's just like, when you do a little bit at a time, and you pace yourself, and you come back to it, um, doing little by little. I feel like that's just where the blessing and manifestation of the music business can really come from. Because if you're doing big chunks at a time, you can get burnt out, and I've definitely been there. And you don't leave as much room for everything else. If you're doing, big chunks of stuff, and you come back to it, few weeks later, and stuff like that, it just makes it a little bit more cumbersome, and a little bit more challenging, I feel. And so me, devoting it as I would a business, putting in a certain amount of hours a day, even if it's not even like making the music, really even just like coming up with the ideas, the titles for the track, the ideas for the cover art, like just, having those idea blasting moments, can be attributed towards the business, so to speak. And that's definitely something that you want to cherish, and that you want to treasure. And so that was really the overall message that I wanted to come on here and tell you guys. And I hope that this really resonates with somebody that is I guess in search for this type of an answer for today's music business. Because a lot of what I see online is, I'm prone to this as well. I like to share my accomplishments. I love to share my accolades. I love to promote myself, and I love to put myself out there. And I feel like, people are gonna put out stuff that they feel is like, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like people will put stuff out there that's like a finished product. And it's okay to celebrate the little things. It's okay to celebrate that new relationship that you have, that you didn't have before, shaking hands with that new engineer, and meeting that particular singer, or um, you know, sharing someone's praise that they had about your music, sharing their feedback online. People love that stuff. That's exposure for them too. With how courteous and polite and professional that they are. For them to take time out of their day to give you praise and to give you feedback on your tracks, to let you know that you're doing a great job. And so I just really want us to start celebrating the little things when it comes to the music business. And um, you don't have to have this you know this mindset of like, I have to put out so much at such a quick amount of time. And I just want to encourage everybody that it's okay to take a little bit of time on a project. It's okay to um, take a certain amount of hours into the manifestation of a project. You don't have to be a super incredible workhorse, but I feel that don't get lost in the quantity side of things and really focus more on the quality. Um, don't cut any corners. If you feel that your cover art or your titles, your fonts, your audio quality, and all that is just not at the highest level, like take some time, take some time on it, and do your research, do a little bit of detail with your stuff. You don't have to go super crazy with it, but don't take away from the process of what you're doing. Really take everything into account for what you're doing. I mean, you are putting out a legacy of yourself. And it's okay to, improve along the way. I get that. Not everybody is going to have X amount of dollars or X amount of time to devote towards a certain area of the music, whether it's like the creative aspect on your cover art, or you don't have like a website, or you don't have like the most bomb camera for your social media. Like it's okay to make improvements, but don't don't steer away from the quality aspect of what you're doing. When you put out a song and you have a singer on it, you know, really take that extra time to make sure that they sound as professional as possible. Don't put something out because you can. And I feel that, certain people will put something out there and that, they'll just be like, oh, it's fine. Just remember that what you need to do for the music business needs to be at the highest quality and standard of what you can produce for yourself at that moment in time. And I want that to be the success point that you hold near and dear to your heart, because if you're just putting stuff out just to put stuff out and you don't really put too much care behind it and you don't put too much quality behind it, the next person that sees your stuff is really going to take a second look at you and just be like, well, he's great, but so and so is a lot better because of what they took a little, it seems like they took a little bit more time into what they were doing. And it's a practice, it's not going to happen overnight. You definitely need to dedicate a certain amount of time towards it, but you don't need to rush the process and sacrificing of the quality that you're wanting to put something out. And I just really want to encourage y'all that if you are needing any sort of help or any sort of advice, or you're needing any type of assistance with cover art, with the titles of your piece, with maybe selecting a certain studio and engineer, any certain genres or anything like that, if you guys need any sort of help, I really want to be a vessel that you guys can turn to in respect of a project you guys might have in mind. Now, I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. And with certain questions and certain things that you might address me on, I could offer that advice for free. But if you need any sort of help, it's okay to reach out to people, and it's okay to take a step back and be like, whoa, I feel like I might be rushing this a bit. Let's take a step back and let's assess the quality aspect of what I'm doing here. And I feel like that to me is really one of the most important factors of the music business, is that rather than focusing on the quality aspect or excuse me, the quantity, you need to focus more on the quality aspect. Because a lot of people will just put stuff out because they can, they're able to flesh out like, 50, 60 tracks in a month, but their cover art looks like garbage, or their fonts and their titles are just not very good. And so I just really want to be a vessel of encouragement. If any help that you guys might need, any advice on an oversight on a project, I really want to be that person for you. So definitely feel free to reach out to me um, on Instagram at Michael D Tidwell, or even on my website at michaeldtidwell.com. I really, really want to help you guys out. And so, yeah, I mean, with all that being said, guys, I'm so incredibly happy for this year. 2022 had a lot of really cool moments, a lot of ups and downs. Um, I lost, a lot of good people, but I also gained a lot of people. I feel like 2022 is definitely that year of, just awakening, so to speak, just kind of like a moment where like we could just kind of open up our eyes a little bit more on the entirety of our lives. Um, and yeah, just crazy. And so I'm just so thankful that we've just gotten to this point um with music in general. And I'm so looking forward to 2023 and what it has to offer with, my projects, with the projects of other people that I follow. And I really want to give a big shout out to everybody that is involved with music and that doesn't do this as a full-time job, that does this as a hobby, as like a passion project, as something that they do on their spare time on the weekends or at night. Like I really want to give you guys like the biggest shout out, because it's it's definitely an interesting dynamic that you have to have when it comes to music, and to kind of balance that out around the different things that are going on with our daily lives. It can be very challenging to incorporate that heartfelt passion that we have towards something that we love, even when our lives are super crazy. We might have like, kids and, so many things going on, throughout our day-to-day lives. And, I really want to give those people the biggest shout out, because it can be very challenging. And also to those that do work music on a full-time scale. I know that it's not probably the easiest thing to do. And, I really want to give you guys the biggest shout out, because you are, encouraging us to do better, to do more for ourselves, for the quality of our craft. And it's very special. So, yeah, guys, I really just wanted to come on here and just to share my thank yous, and also to talk about the different definitions of success that I have within the music business, and to let y'all know that you know, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We are all in this together. This is a community of people, and you are not in this alone. You always have someone to turn to, and you always have someone else that might be going through the same thing within their heart and realm in the music business, especially today. Um, and so Yeah, I just wanted to say I love you guys. I thank you so much for an incredible year as well with the China Doll podcast, with this new segment powered by music. It's been such an incredible year, and I want to give a really special shout out to Anna Cassim, who has brought me on board with the China Doll podcast and um, allowed the opportunity for me to manifest this new segment called Powered by Music, and it's just been such a wild ride, and such a positive, uplifting, beautiful way. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me to kind of shine in that aspect, and kind of putting the spotlight on me, so to speak. And it's been a really really cool turnout. So um, yeah, guys, I want y'all to really, look inside yourselves and really ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I in this music business? What, am I doing the most for it? Am I upholding the quality and standard that needs to be attributed towards being my very best towards the music business? Is there certain areas that I can improve with? Whether that be musically, artistically, creatively, motivationally, like, um, what is that one thing that you could always improve on, or that one thing that you can tell yourself that, what, like that was good last year, but you know what, this year for 2023, I'm gonna make it better. I'm gonna make it the best it's ever been. And guys, like, that's the opportunity that I'm talking about. That's the blessing and the manifestation that can come out of making that one part of your music better. And there's always things that we can improve on. And I feel like those are like the biggest lessons that you could always look back upon, is like, what? I'm really glad that, I didn't have that in 2022, but you know what? I can do that for 2023. And you know what? Like, I tried that engineer, or I tried out that microphone, I tried out that synth, or I tried out that vocalist, and maybe it didn't work out as best as I would have hoped, but you know what? That's where we can improve on for 2023. Or maybe that communication can be better, and how I talk to artists, or talk to curators or record labels, and how can I build collaborations, and what's that stepping stone for yourself. And I really want that to be, I guess you could say, like the biggest motivation for you, especially for 2023, because this is going to be a great year, guys. We have a lot of stuff planned for Michael D. Tidwell. A lot of really cool things are going to be happening. Got a really special EP project that I'm going to be coming out with. The first single of 2023 is going to be happening on my birthday, January 29th. And it's going to be very special. I have a very special singer behind that. And yeah, guys, it's going to be such a blessing. Next year is, you know, full of opportunity. And I really want you guys to harness that, and to look deep within yourself, and to be like, what, how can I make this next year better? What is going to be that one factor that I can improve on with my music? And guys, like, that's what I really want y'all to really hone in on. And I think with y'all doing that, including myself, that is going to really make your 2023 the most profitable year in opportunity. And yeah, I think it's going to be really awesome. So guys, yeah, thank y'all so much for coming on board with this, and just listening to this. This is a pretty long segment here, but guys, I really just wanted to say thank you so much for just tuning in, listening into this message. And I just wanted to give a really really big shout out and thank you to all the people that I got introduced to this year, still getting introduced to, as far as building better opportunities for my music, all the curators, the singers. I want to give a shout out also to Vintage Team Music for the sync licensing publishing deal that I got early on this year, and for just all the cool things to happen with this music business. And yeah, guys, if y'all need anything, please hit me up. It's going to be at Michael D. Tidwell on Instagram or Facebook. And you can also visit me and follow me on my website at michaeldtidwell.com. And yeah, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Powered by Music from the China Doll Podcast. And y'all keep it easy, all right? Happy holidays, and have a blessed 2023. Peace, guys.